Let's start with a definition. What's a blended course? A blended course is a course that combines face-to-face meetings with online learning elements. Some of my colleagues like to talk about hybrid courses or hybrid learning. I personally prefer the term blended learning. They mean the same thing. However, if you're about to start working on a blended course project, you want to make sure that all the people involved in the project define the term hybrid or blended in the same way to avoid any confusion down the road. One important clarification. Let's say that you have added a number of online activities to a face-to-face course. You have not created a blended course. You might have created a flipped course, but it's not the same thing. One defining element of blended learning is that you are replacing some of the face-to-face meetings with online tasks and activities. So for example, let's say that you teach a French course that meets 5 times a week. If you want to turn this French course into a blended course, then you would only see your students maybe 3 times a week, and then they would be doing online work and activities the rest of the time. That would be a blended course. Now you may wonder whether blended learning works. Is it as effective as face-to-face learning? It's an important question because building a blended course is time-consuming, and you want to make sure that you're putting time and effort in a project that is going to benefit your students. So there are a couple ways to answer this question. One way is to look at the research. And in 2010, the US Department of Education published a large study in which the researchers looked and compared over 1,000 studies that compared face-to-face learning with blended learning with online learning. And the findings were definitely in favor of blended learning. So that's one way to look at the question of, does it work? Another way to answer this question is to look at this question in terms of modality. And by that I mean that a well-built face-to-face course or a well-built blended course is probably going to be successful, and a poorly designed course, regardless of whether it's offered face-to-face, online, or in a blended format, is probably not going to work.